Hello and welcome to my channel. We're back in my bedroom and today we have got a sewing video all about learning from my mistakes. I should have a what have I been sewing in October video, but it would have finished already because I didn't sew anything in October. If you follow my channel, you'll already kind of know that because I've told you that the sewing has been a little bit rare recently. But I thought, I kind of spontaneously did this because I was looking through my wardrobe a little while ago and I was thinking, what do I want to sew next and what shall I sew next? And there were a few things in there I noticed, me-made things, that I just wasn't wearing, and I've made them quite recently but I just wasn't wearing them, so I wanted to have a bit of a think and reflect on why was I not wearing those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the things that I picked out. They're all things that I've made this year, so if you've been following my channel you will know them. And I'm going to talk about why I think they are mistakes, or maybe why they're not working, so that I can learn from that, and maybe you'll find some familiar themes in these too. So first thing, I will try and insert some imagery of me wearing the items as I'm talking. So the first one is this one. It is a top and a skirt that is I made to wear as a dress, and when I first showed you this on here I said to you that I thought that they were a mistake, or I didn't like them, and that hasn't changed. I haven't worn them once, and I think basically two things here. The first is I've made a garment that I don't wear that kind of garment. Maybe on the odd summer day I might, but we did have a reasonable summer and I didn't wear these, so yeah, maybe I was sort of pushing the boundaries of what I wear, and with these I pushed it too far into things that I simply don't wear. Having said that, this shape of top I have made in a blue stripy fabric that you will have seen over the summer that I sewed, and I do enjoy wearing that and I do wear it. And that leads me on to the second thing, and you can kind of see on the hanger, although to be fair these have been squashed in my wardrobe. It's a bad match between fabric and pattern. I do this a lot. If I could learn one lesson, this would be the lesson. How to match up fabric and pattern better. Maybe it's just that sometimes you miss and you make a mistake. I'm sure that's part of it. But this fabric for a cowl neck, I mean, look at it. That's not a cowl neck, is it? You need it to sit. But when this fabric sits, it just kind of folds. So I matched up the wrong fabric with the pattern. And so the skirt is fairly similar in that it's not really drapey enough for a skirt that needs to drape. The skirt's probably slightly more successful in terms of fabric to pattern matching than the top, but it's still not ideal. And the third thing, so this garment has quite a few things that I think push it. There's nothing wrong with it as a garment if someone else liked it. I think the fabric's always going to be a bit stiff, but if you liked this shape and if you like this colour, which is the third thing I think is wrong for me on this, then I think you could probably live with the fact that the fabric's not an ideal fit. So if this was a different colour for me, I could probably, well actually no, because it's still not a garment I like to wear. But anyway, so this colour just isn't the right colour for me, I don't think. I need colours like that, super strong, really bright. Colours like that doesn't look so good, does it? I certainly don't think so. So even though actually the yellow in this is a pretty strong yellow, I'm learning, I would like to be able to wear yellow, but I'm learning that there pretty much aren't any yellows or oranges that suit me. They just don't. I wish there were because I quite like the colours, but it doesn't seem to work very well. So this fails on 3 counts. It is a bad fabric to pattern match. It's a style that I push too far and I don't wear, and the colour is wrong for me. So this is probably the one thing that fails on the most things out of everything that I'm going to show you. So this is going to get donated to the charity shop, and someone else will love it, I hope. So the next garment is these trousers. Show which way round. So these are, I should say, that was a hack of the Myrtle dress from Seamwork. So I made it as a top and a bottom, but it's the Myrtle dress. I also resized the pattern for wovens, and I'll put a link to the video where I talk all about that, because I've talked about exactly what I did and how. I'll put a link to that video in here if you're watching on a device where they pop up, and also down in the comments. So this pattern is the Palisade pants, that's what they're called, Palisade pants from Paper Cut Patterns. And they are grey trousers. They have a flat front, elasticated waist, and they have the side pockets. Now there is one thing wrong with these: the fabric's wrong. The fabric is just fine, but it is far too bulky for all that gathering at the back for me, and it doesn't drape well enough. So this pattern, I've made it once, well, I've made it 3 times total, once within a bed sheet because it was the toile. This was the second time where I got the fitting okay, but the fabric I didn't get right. And the third time I made it, I got the fit and the fabric and the colour right, and I love that pair of trousers, which is a blue Cupro, which is much drapier. So this is just too stiff. It would make a great pair of trousers. It's a good fabric for trousers, which is kind of why I made the mistake, because I knew it was a good fabric for trousers. However, it is not a good fabric for this pair of trousers, because you need something that is much drapier for the Palisade pants. So it's far too bulky at the back. It's partly a matter of opinion, but I just don't enjoy wearing them. I feel like they add bulk exactly where I am not comfortable adding bulk in terms of how I like my body to look. And so that is why these are a fail. It's a shame because I'd quite like them in grey. So I do have some fabric in my stash. It's a knit actually, which would be fine because it drapes much more and it's grey. So one day when I get back in front of my sewing machine, I will make these in grey, but I will just make them in a slightly different fabric. So the thing that was wrong with this was the fabric. So the next item, I'm quite surprised about this. However, try as I might, I can't make myself want to wear this top. I really liked it when I made it. I dyed the fabric. Again, I will put a link. In fact, I made this in the same month that I made the yellow dress. I think it was July. I did this tie-dye effect, which I really love. But I can't make myself want to wear the top. And I think it's just that it's a bit fussy. I don't know. The fit is not perfect. I think it's a little bit tight across the top, the back. Even though I did a round back adjustment on it, I think there's not quite enough width there to there. But this was one that I think this might have started off this whole process actually, because I was looking through my wardrobe and I saw it and I thought, why haven't you worn that? And yet you don't want to wear it either. So it's a bit of a puzzle, and I think it's basically that I don't really enjoy the style of the top. I was very proud of the process of making it. I enjoyed that quite a lot. I really like the dye effect and I want to do that again on something that I might wear this time. How about that? But the top, a bit meh. I think the name of this top is the 9th of November blouse. I think that's what it's called. The origami blouse. I love origami, so I just thought origami. I'll like a pattern that's called that. And I was trying to look for something that would extend my skills. So it has these folded arms like that, and of course it has all the pleating here, and it has little shoulder thingamajigs. So I haven't decided whether I keep this around and maybe I'll want to wear it in the summer or not. You can see from my face, I don't want to wear it. Yeah, I don't know, this is probably going to go to the charity shop as well. It's a taste thing and I don't think I like it. This one might be a surprise. This. And that's because I actually don't dislike everything about this. This is the Morningside blouse from a company I cannot remember. I will have to put the name down below. That's annoying. Anyway, it's called the Morningside dress and shirt because it also comes as a shirt dress. It has a hidden placket, which was the first time I'd done a hidden placket, and I really enjoyed doing that. I love the fabric. And overall, this should be good fabric for a shirt. However, the bit that I find is not working for me when I try and wear it is the ruffles. They're not drapey enough. So they tend to stick out. You can see how they're kind of doing it. Even without a human body inside, they're sticking out like that. So I'm not enjoying that. The last time I tried to wear it, I took it off before I left the house because I was just finding this too much. Now I have quite narrow shoulders and they're quite rounded, so I thought that I'd be absolutely fine with something that stuck out a little bit. But in practice, I'm not. And it's making this shirt, which should be a real staple. It's great colours, it's blue and it's got those flashes of red. I'm totally fine with how the colours work on me. I mean, what's not to like about a shirt? I like wearing shirts, but this is the problem bit. So what I'm going to do with this one is it's not going to a new home, but I'm going to take the frill off and I'm just going to hand sew the hem under, and then it's going to be sort of a drop sleeve to about there shirt, and that will transform that one. So it's definitely not a throwaway, but I don't wear it in its form. It needs to be changed. Two more. This is a knitted jumper. Now this, I just love the colours. Well, look, ta-da! There's a predictable thing, and that is the colour I like the best actually in all of them. This is the second time I have knitted with this exact same wool. I've not bought the wool twice. I made something and I took it apart and then I made this, and I'm still not happy with this. And I know why. It's because the shape is all wrong. So it comes down far too low. You can't see that from here. I will insert some pictures of me wearing it, as I've said. It comes down too low. It either needs to be cropped to about there, or I'm going to take it apart and re-knit it as a scarf. I'm not sure which I'm going to do. I think I'm not totally in love with the top of it either, but the main thing is that the length that it comes to is my hip line. And the funny thing is, I used to wear stuff to that line all the time, and now I find it really unflattering. And I don't know why, but I much prefer a cropped jumper silhouette. I certainly don't love stuff that ends right on the widest part of me, because my hips, I've got a classic pear-shaped body, which is something I mention quite a lot, and so my hips are the widest part. And so if you take a strong pattern and you end it there, I believe what that does to your silhouette is it just makes you look really wide, and nobody wants to look really wide. So yeah, I will either take it apart and make it a cropped jumper, more likely take it entirely apart and make a scarf, maybe like this one, like a big chunky scarf, because at this time of year I want to wear this kind of scarf every day. One of the best ways to make me cold is to either make the small of my back cold or my neck. So I can go out without a coat because I'm a tough northern girl, but not if I haven't got a scarf. Yes, so I need a scarf, hence wearing one now. And I think this would make a really lovely scarf. So I think that's what's in its future. But the shape of it, and it's so depressing when the shape of something you knit doesn't work, because whereas when you sew something, it's a few hours work and that's not great. When you knit something, I'm not a fast knitter, so that's like 2 months of knitting right there, and it didn't work. But hey, there's no point keeping it in my drawer, because if I wear it I won't feel good, and the likelihood is actually I won't wear it. So I still love the wool and the colours. It's pure wool. It originally came from Rowan, which is a Huddersfield manufacturer of wool, where I was born, so it must be good. And yeah, oh, snuggle in it. Yeah, this needs to be a scarf, definitely. Now, finally, I am still on the fence about this stripy top. I showed you this last time. I did have something to show you that I'd sewn. I showed you this. I'm trying to work out which is the front. There we go. And I said I thought the colours were all wrong, and I'm still not convinced. I still love the shape. I still love stripes. Never going to stop loving stripes. But I still feel like, I mean, it looks a bit weird because I've just put it over my scarf, but a lot of you said that you thought it looked okay. So that's made me like, I don't know. And one of the reasons why I've just made this scarf, but I'm not telling you about that because I made it in November, is I thought, well, okay, what if we do that with it? And I think that might actually rescue it. So it's a funny one, isn't it? The yellow dress, I don't like it enough to try and do anything to rescue it. But actually, now that, yes, I haven't actually tried putting these together. But that looks pretty cool. So this one might get rescued. Yeah, so the ones that are going to get rescued, or at least I haven't worn this at all, this stripy top, because I just couldn't love it. It's the Kabuki tee from Paper Theory, which I've mentioned endlessly since I started making it at the start of this, since I found the pattern and started making versions at the start of this year. And I love how it's actually quite a quick sew, but it's got the little tricksy corners, and it comes out with an interesting batwing shape. I've hacked it to have longer sleeves, which is super simple. You basically just draw the line longer at the end of the sleeves. Again, there will be a link to where I originally showed and talked about how I did that. So this one I think is going to get a reprieve. I'm going to try making the colour issue, because a lot of times with colour theory, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning because it seems to be somewhere that I make mistakes in my sewing. It's the colour you have directly against your face that is the one that you need to think about. That's how I understand it. So you could wear a wrong, in inverted commas, colour on your legs, and really it doesn't matter as long as the colour that's up near your face obviously goes with that, but is a good colour for you. So generally, if you love a colour like I like yellow, potentially I could get away with yellow trousers. Can anyone get away with yellow trousers? Probably, yes. I could get away with yellow trousers if the colour on top was a good colour for me. So for example, navy blue. That would be pretty cool. I wish I had time to do some sewing. So there you go. Those are this year's biggest sewing fails, mistakes. What have I learnt? And that is what I've learnt from them. So generally there's a theme there of I need to get better at matching pattern to fabric, and I need to be even more mindful than I already am about the colours that I'm choosing to sew with, because clearly if I get to the end of a project and the colour was not right all along, I'm just not wearing it, and I'm not liking it when I wear it. So I hope you found something interesting in that. I would really like to hear from you about whether you find that you make similar sorts of mistakes or whether you make different mistakes. And if you've got any great tips about how to help yourself get better with them, I would love to hear them. And as ever, even if you don't want to comment, read the comments down below, because the people who watch these videos, even if I say so myself, are very, very wise and intelligent women and men. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon, possibly even with some things I've sewn. Let's see. Bye.